What up, YouTube, and welcome back to another English review here over at Thomas Opent. With something pretty big and bold here right now, thanks to my buddy Cornet, a regular viewer, watcher of the channel, and he is a big fan of the mystery beers, and decided to send me over a second box of mystery beers. He shipped me some, like, what was it, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago, at the time of filming this. And sent me over a second box because he figured I love him so much. Here's 5 more. He also included this bad boy. It is the Barrel Blend Curiosité from Brouwerij Bronckhorster. Bronckhorster Brewing Company here out of the Netherlands. And this is a pretty big, bold beer. It's comprised out of 4 beers. The Russian Imperial Stout on Kalila barrels, aged for 8 months. A Russian Imperial Stout on Heaven Hill bourbon barrels, aged for 7 months. A Russian Imperial Stout on Remy Martin cognac barrels, aged for 8 months. And the quad, which was aged on Macallan whiskey for 11 months. This is bottle number 2,879 and was filled in May 2021. So we're in somewhere mid-July right now. So basically, this is about 2 months old. It's 14.5% ABV. So there you go. It's 50 centiliters. It's half a liter. There's a bit of a thing here, because this beer has had a bit of a controversy. That's big name for it. But yeah, it got a bit of a reputation for being incredibly coconut forward. And therein lies the rub, as they say. Cornet bought 3 of these before he heard all the reviews online popping up saying that it was incredibly coconut forward. Now, he knows that I am basically a bit of a coconut slut, and he figured, I'm going to send Thomas one of them because I'm not a big coconut fan, and there you go. So here it is. I am a big coconut fan. It's all about balance, of course. It shouldn't be too overdone. So I am very curious about this beer. The reviews have been going up and down a little bit. Now, I just form my own opinion, as we always should, but it is pretty interesting to read all the other people's opinions. So, I'm kind of stoked for this. I'm kind of stoked for this because we're talking about 14.5% ABV. I love my big, bold, burly wine beers. I love coconut. I love most of the barrels, basically all of the barrels that were used in. We're talking about Macallan. It's a fantastic scotch. I'm not very well known with cognacs, so, I'm not very well known with. That sentence didn't matter. I don't really know a lot about cognac, so there we go with the Remy Martin. We'll figure it out. Kalila Heaven Hill. I'm big on them. I believe it was the Kalila one that actually had some coconut added to it, which isn't on the ingredient list. That kind of sucks. So that was one of the things that I do say. If it is in even one of those beers, state the adjuncts. Even if it's in only one of the 4 beers in a blend, it is in there. State it. Name it, because it'll give people an idea on what to expect. There's a bit of a story time here in Dutch. I'm not going to go read all of that. But yeah. I'm curious. We have some hashtag proper glassware. Always good. Always good to have hashtag proper glassware because any beer tastes better in proper glassware. This, no matter what I'm going to think of this beer, it'll definitely have a place behind me on the shelf. So this pours a bit thinner than I thought it would be with 14.5% ABV. And in the glass, first of all, in the glass, it comes off as probably pitch black for you guys. But I hope you can see, if I lift it like here, it's actually quite clear in the bottom there. And it has a lot of like that sort of mahogany wood, like polished wood, dark polished dark wood, a little bit of a red tinge in there. When I hold it like this, I definitely get those red notes from like quad here in the bottom on the edges. It's got a very quick dissipating head. Some soapy bubbles on top, but it's 14.5% ABV. It's barrel aged. You're gonna not expect a head to really last that long. So yeah, it looks the part of a big burly beer. What is it with me? I keep wanting to say barley wine. It's not a barley wine. But like I said, yeah, it poured a little bit lighter in color than you would expect from a beer that has so many different kinds of barrel aged stouts in them. But then again, not every Imperial Stout has that pitch black, motor oil kind of look to it. This is sort of the expectation a lot of people have, and a lot of them will have like that sort of cola dark brown vibe going when you pour it. This had that, and I don't know the percentage of. I could have looked that up online. I think I have no idea what the percentage of quad was in this. For all I know, it's like 50% of the quad. So there you go. That will also impart a little bit more of that lighter color. Um, let's see what this beer has in the nose. I am very curious. Cornet, again, thank you so very much. And that is basically a liquid Bounty bar. I don't know if people from the States or the UK or wherever you're watching this from know what a Bounty bar is, but basically it's like sort of desiccated coconut mashed into sort of like a center, like a puree kind of thickness. Not a puree. What am I saying here? Anyway, it's like desiccated, creamy coconut sort of substance wrapped in chocolate. That's what this is doing to me. It's pretty sweet. You're definitely getting a huge coconut vibe. There is that coconut from the Kalila barrel, I think it was. But speaking of, not getting a lot of Kalila, like that peaty, peaty whiskey, peaty single malt thing going on. The levels of coconut here. Now, this was a bit of a debate where people were like, this has to have coconut in it. According to the brewery, it has a minimum amount in that one of the 4 beers. The kind of coconut that I'm getting here is definitely, it's a bit of the adjunct coconut. It's definitely also very heavy on that Heaven Hill kind of bourbon coconut. A lot of those bourbon barrels. And for some reason, I don't know what you guys think. Everybody, if you have ever had multiple kinds of Heaven Hill barrel-aged beers, or Heaven Hill itself, let me know, what is your experience with coconut coming from different kind of bourbons? Heaven Hill was always very coconut forward for me. Not always, but often. Always, I will get coconut from a Heaven Hill bourbon barrel. This is going to be a very long review, people, just so you know. So there's a bit of a soft soy umami kind of component under it, and I'm getting some sort of hints from like sort of a red fruit, almost going towards sort of like a red wine character. Not like explicitly like I'm drinking a red wine, but kind of like when you're getting red fruit notes from a nice decent red wine, sort of like that vibe. Minimal, but it's there. Certainly a sort of soft oaky dryness, and very, very, very at the end of that deep sniff, I got a little bit of that sort of colloidal, like peaty note. Yeah, it's very distant, but it's definitely there. You have to take a big, long whiff. I'm very curious what this beer is going to do when it's been breathing and open for a little bit. It is right now, it is 3:15 in the afternoon, 3:15 p.m. So this is going to be like my whole afternoon sipper. It's 15 centiliters, so this is going to do me quite well until dinner. I'll make some dinner. Probably that's going to be maybe a beer somewhere tonight, but that's going to be it for the afternoon. This is something that you're going to have to take your time with, and this is probably something that will develop quite a lot during that time of enjoying it. Speaking of, by the way, yeah, it is incredibly coconut forward. Basically, right now, all I'm getting is as the baseline is that coconut, but I'm okay with it. Like I said, I like coconut. If you're really big on the coconut, you're gonna love this. If you're not into coconut or you can only take it in small measures, please be advised. You know, this might not be your thing. There's a sort of there's the chocolate note, of course, because I talked about that candy bar thing. You know, that Bounty. I'm not sure what they're called. Somebody once told me what they're called in like the UK and America. I'm not sure. There's sort of like there's a version of it that has darker chocolate. I'm getting that kind of chocolate. It's not overtly sweet. By the way, that red wine character that I was getting, it could be, of course, that Remy Martina cognac thing. Could be. There's just sort of there is a roasty, toasty malt base in here. You are getting those, sort of like a very dark brown bread toast thing going on, but it's minimal. Right now it's incredibly barrel forward, coconut forward. It's a bit astringent in the nose, like a soft astringency, probably again from those barrels. yeah, that soft smoky aroma is getting there. And not that long ago, I had this Kalila barrel aged beer. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? That like popped out like Kalila. If you've ever had Kalila, you can tell when it is that specific single malt. Here, you're just getting that sort of generic, sort of peaty, smoky thing in the distance. For people who don't like peaty barrel aged beers, this is actually something where you could sort of get into it a little bit. Now, I know that this is three different versions of, I'm assuming their Imperial Stout, that is constantly the same Imperial Stout. I'm not even sure if they have several Imperial Stouts. I'm not really getting anything here that screams quadruple to me. I mean, it has a malty backbone, definitely, but nothing that screams either the quad or the Macallan here. It's nice though. I like it. There's a sort of generic spice herbal thing going in the background, like a sort of soft spice note. Nothing too particular. Could sort of almost be like a, when you have like a soft sprinkling of something that goes between nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger, like all the dried versions of it, dried powdery versions, something like that. I like it. I like the notes. This is actually, it reminds me, this would be a beautiful Christmas beer. I wouldn't mind trying to source a bottle. I was a bit hesitant. It's not the cheapest beer ever. Um, I'm not going to name prices here because I know what it costs generically. The base price you see generically. Jesus, my English is on point today. God damn. I know basically what this beer costs, and it's cheaper, for example, than a Bourbon County. But I was a little bit hesitant to buy because I was reading the things about, the coconut and everything, which even though I like, I didn't want it to be too overpowering, which I think it's not. There is more to it than just coconut. But what I was trying to say is I wouldn't mind trying to source another bottle of this because I think this would be great for Christmas. This would be a great dessert beer. Have it with like some nice like a cheese board. Have this or in the evening during Christmas. This would be great as sort of like a desserty, after dinner drink with some nice cheeses and stuff like that. Let's dive in. Let's see what this thing has to offer in terms of palate taste and everything, mouthfeel. Again, Cornet, thank you very much, buddy. Cheers. So that's interesting. So that's very interesting. It's like a completely different beer. Okay, bear with me, because this is going to be a longer review. Bear with me, please. So, first up, it's on the palate where suddenly everything is starting to come together and it's going so many different directions. Yeah, there's definitely that desiccated coconut component, but now you're getting that sort of the ashy notes from that Kalila are suddenly coming into play a lot more. There's a very sort of like char burn component, which I'm thinking is actually from, again, the Heaven Hill thing, where you get that charred barrel thing going on from the barrel when before they put anything in there, they char it, they burn it, they roast the ever loving F out of that baby. You're getting that kind of char. There's that sort of soy sauce umami component thing going on, and that quad. I think it could be one of the stouts. It could be the Remy Martin. It could be the quad because some quads have that for me. But you're getting that sort of vinous red wine, almost like a fortified red wine, like a sherry port, fruity red fruit, dried fruit thing going on. Again with those spices, reminding me of some of those Christmas spices. With the coconut, with like a bit of a chocolate thing going. In the palate, actually, the chocolate component is not all that intense. So Wow. I did not expect any of this coming from the nose. This is completely something utterly, completely different than what the nose. Yeah, again, the nose. I'm like going back to that nose. That nose is still full of that coconut, and for some reason, the mouthfeel. I think a lot of people would be a little bit would probably expect at 14.5% when you're talking about things like imperial stouts at 14.5%. You know, we get some of those incredibly viscous. I think. Oh man, please correct me if I'm wrong. Any of my English viewers. That's what people are expecting. Now this is a bit thinner than that, but not thin. It's a bit more. It's not that sticky. It's not like syrupy or anything, but it's got a certain level of smoothness to it, like a nice red wine. And again with the Venice thing, because I say red wine, maybe my mind was playing tricks on me before because I maybe I don't know some sixth sense bullshit going on when I was holding that bottle and I kept saying wine instead of beer. This reminds me so much of a very oaky, fruity red wine, but also with those stout components. So there's a roasty toasty note from the malts. There's that ashy burnt component from the Kalila, and I'm thinking that roasty toasty component, the char component. I mean from the barrel, sort of like a soft little vanilla hum going on, but very soft, very subtle. More like when you use it in like baking in pastries or in cakes or whatever, you get the soft sort of like vanilla hum that you're like, there's a sweetness, there's this little vanilla thing going on, except it's not overtly vanilla, it just has that component of it. This is fucking glorious. I had not expected this to be this. I expected this to be, that. That's what I expected. That's what I expected this to be. This is some pretty freaky shit right here. There's that sort of like earthy, peaty, almost like, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot, Cornet. Really, I do. This is actually, I had not expected to like this much, and I am. I was a bit hesitant after some of the more negative reviews, but is this the best Bronckhorster I've ever had in their barrel program? No, no, it isn't. But it is very good. It is definitely very tasty. I would have to look up with my highest rating. This it is up there. It is up there, but I've had better. I've had one of the other barrel blends not that long ago, also as a mystery beer, which I think was better than this because the mouthfeel was more in line with what I was expecting from that kind of beer. Again, the mouthfeel here isn't lacking. It's just not. I'm still liking the mouthfeel. Like I said, it's like that smooth, sort of silky thing going on, which I like. But being three different kinds of imperial stouts with the mindset, it's probably my mindset. It's not the beer itself, it's my mindset. I was expecting something completely different, but I'm loving it. I'm liking it. I am okay with this beer. The finish. Let's talk about the finish a little bit. Sometimes I forget talking about the finish. So the finish has again this sort of like ashy, smoky coconut. Again, oh, by the way, the palate, there's definitely coconut in the palate. Don't. I mean, I'm not talking about it that much because there's so many different things going on compared to the nose, but there's definitely coconut in the palate here. But there's definitely that coconut again, the desiccated sort of like nutty, sweet component of that coconut. Definitely a little bit of that chocolate. A lot again of that ashy Kalila char component. All in the finish. Rather sweet, actually. This beer is also sweeter than I expected it to be. I haven't really talked about any bittering components. The bittering components that it has is a little bit like that char ashy thing going on from again the Kalila, the burnt notes there, imparting a little bit of an impact of bitterness with sort of like a roasty toasty malty bitter component there. It's mostly sweet and savory. Again, with that sort of soft soy sauce component, an umami thing with those red fruits coming in, those dried fruits coming in. And this is definitely a dessert beer. This is definitely like an after dinner, take your time. I'm drinking this one by myself because, I want to and I can. But this is also definitely a lovely sharing beer for 2, 3, 4 people, For 2 people after dinner, this is amazing. For 4 people, and then do it like if you're with 4 people having dinner, and you share this with some cheese and also have like maybe a nice little port as well. You can maybe a nice little go for something like a nice Malbec. I think that could be nice, and then have that together. All those 3 and make a nice party in your mouth. That would be awesome. But I fucking love this beer. I really love this beer. I mean, it's not the best barrel aged beer I've had this year. It isn't. I'm going to be very honest there, Cornet. I mean, I hope you're not disappointed when I say that, because I think when you have this, you will have the same reaction. It's not the best barrel aged beer I've had this year. Is it one of the better ones? To quote, well, now I'm just bringing in, now I'm just pretending, not pretending, but now I'm, thinking in the way that Matt usually ends his reviews. It's like, is it one of the better ones? Definitely. Definitely, especially when you consider that blending is an art. Blending is not something you just, do. It's not like you just go like, I got some of this and some of that and some of such and some of so, and just fuck around. And, you got to get the right, quantities, the right portions of everything to maintain balance. I think that's probably one of the beer's biggest flaws here is it's lacking a little bit in balance. There's a lot going on. It doesn't really feel very uniform, which sometimes is okay. It's okay. It's better to have like you can have the most balanced beer ever, but if none of the flavors are really popping or impactful or whatever, you're going to be a little bit bored. So it's better sometimes to have a slightly unbalanced beer, but at least with a lot of flavor and everything, which this is. And then the other way around. In the perfect world, it would be both. It would be have all the flavors that you want, but completely synchronized. I like it. I like it. I'm not going to have any problems finishing this beer today, drinking this. It's going to be fun and exciting and interesting and tasty. And there you go. And really, that's what you want from a nice beer, right? One of those things. So again, Cornet, thank you very much for sending this. I feel I haven't said enough about the beer. There's probably a lot going to happen in like the next hour and a half, 2 hours while I finish this off that make me going to go like, I wish I had said that during the review. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and that's what this is. So again, thank you so much for sending me this. This is quite something. I mean, like I said, for people to send me stuff like this, that's wow. That's pretty intense. I mean, a bit humbling, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that you wanted to send me this and share this with me. So thank you very much. I hope that when the time that this review comes out, you'll open up one of your bottles and drink along, and can't wait to find out what you think about it. Same goes for everybody else who's watching. Leave your comments. What did you think of this beer? And that's it for this review. If you liked it, click like. If you really liked it, please hit that subscribe button. Would mean a lot to me. Leave some comments, like I said. Check out links to all of my social media in the description box below. Check out links to the Dutch Beer Collective and mysterybeer.nl, where you'll find reviews from all of my buddies in the Dutch Beer Collective. I love you guys so much. I'm talking about Remy, Beer Geek Holland. I'm talking about Douglas, Beers with Douglas. I'm talking about Gerben, Dutch Beer Geek. It's been a crazy road in the last few years. 4 of us together on this path towards enjoying beers, and I'm still ever grateful that we're friends and that I got to know you guys. So thank you guys as well. And I'll see all of you in another review soon. Cheers.